Well, welcome inside the Canadian Tire Center. The Ottawa Senators and the New York Islanders. First game of 3 this year between the two as we have a look at our starting goaltenders and Evgeny Nabokov. The guy who carried the mail for them last year, Denny, is again got the pouch around the shoulder and will carry them again.
Well, in Long Island, everybody knows they have to get better, and so does he. You saw the record of 4-3-3, 5-5 against the Ottawa Senators. And fourth, the Senators. Well, this is a new face in goal. There's no question. Robin Leonard, 2-1-1 on the season. His third start.
Here's Lafont, lead pass. They dump it in hard. Back along the boards to pick it up. Martinek along the boards, and he is dumped. Lafont waiting for it back at the point. Zibanejad couldn't get it to him. Martinek back along the boards, in the wall. Here's Zach Smith trying to center the puck. He's ridden off the puck. The Cizikas gets on him. Puck comes free. Back to the boards. In the corner, McCulloch leaves the puck there. Here's Zach Smith, and on the other side, Weirkosh is pinching down the wall. McCulloch was knocked down by Cizikas. Gets back up again. Zach Smith back to the point. Gets it back to the corner again. Here's McCulloch. Back along the boards. Mafat is way down low. Tries to take it to the net. Gets a shot away. Back in front again. McCulloch has it just go off the pad of Nabokov. Great early pressure from the Senators, and they just keep coming at the Islanders. Here comes Turris. Turris moves in his shot. Blocker save by Nabokov. MacArthur to the corner. Here's Turris. Turris tries to pull it off the wall. Gets away from Tavares. Back along the boards now. There's a shot. Gloved down by Nabokov as Bobby Ryan snapped one looking for the high corner, and a good start, Denny, for the Senators.
A good start, 71 seconds into the hockey game. They never left the offensive zone. And you think the thought is comfortable playing the right side? I think so. Well, that was a gimme for McCulloch, who just couldn't get it up over the pad of Nabokov. Strong save. What a start. Not 1 second had they left the offensive zone.
Here's Vanek now and does what he wants, which is just get it out. Now MacArthur loses control in the neutral zone, but now gets it back. Bobby Ryan curls it wide side up to center. A little hesitation, created an opening for himself. Dumps it to the corner. MacArthur to get it. McDonald wraps him up along the boards.
Oh, wow.
Bobby Ryan is hammered to the ice by Hamonic.
How does that punch never get called?
Well, good news for Ottawa is they now know exactly what's allowable.
I guess so. I certainly would. Boy, this would become the beginning of a very fun game.
Here's Greiben. You never did anything like that.
Oh, no.
Never.
Let's say it another way.
Yeah.
You go to the limits of what the referee will allow you to do, and that was pretty indicative that it could be a fun night physically to watch.
Frans Nielsen into the zone. Believe it or not John Tavares, but Nielsen is the leading scorer of this Islander team in the early going of this season. Long lead pass gets by everybody as it slides back down ice as Hickey tried to feed the puck ahead. Back to the neutral zone. Here's Hickey again. Just slaps it back into the Ottawa zone. Phillips to get it. Carlson there as well. Phillips directing traffic. Gives it to Carlson. Up to center he goes. To the line for Spezza. Hits him in the stick. On the board, puck is shoveled back out to center. Peter Regan saw Chris Neal coming and knew what was in store for him if he didn't get rid of the puck.
Too many practices with Chris Neal.
Yeah. Regan floats it into the zone. Leonard lets it go. Weirkosh to Mafat. Up the boards. Here's Condra now. Slides the puck ahead to the line. Greening gets a shot away. That one goes off the stick up and it catches Matt Donovan in the face. He stays out there. Back to the point. Weirkosh back along the boards. Here's Greening. Puts it back to the net. Condra tries to get to it. Falls on the stick. The stick of Donovan, who after he got hit in the face, dropped his stick. Condra tries to center the puck. It hops to the corner. Here's Weirkosh in from the point. Takes a hit to make a play. Centering pass. Bounce off a stick. Now the Islanders just trying to get out. Regan leaves it there. Here's Radek Martinez. Long lead pass, gets by everybody. Iceman waved off. Jared Cowan now. Reaching for the puck, chips it ahead as he takes some contact. To the line. Zibanejad loses the puck. McDonald turns with it. Back out to center. Zach Smith foils the exit strategy of the Islanders. Here's Cizikas along the boards. Cowan Florida got turned around. Each playing the other side of the ice. Puck comes up in the air, nearly catches Smith in the face. Zach Smith back to the net, trying to get his stick free. Being held on the play by Andy McDonald, though, back in front again. Puck is finally cleared out and in the neutral zone. Brock Nelson dumps it in, heads off on a chain.
Now, so far, the Senators are doing what the coaching has been demanding of them, and get the puck in deep, hit bodies, keep control in the offensive zone.
Carlson cuts to the middle of the ice, loses the puck, it's chipped to the boards, and everybody has to come back out.
There's the first time the puck wasn't jumped in deep. They didn't get over the blue line. Is there a lesson there?
Carlson to the line. MacArthur puts the puck in. Running across ice. Bobby Ryan puts the shoulder into Thomas Hickey. Back the other way. Islanders into the zone. Centering pass. That slides by Opozo. Out the other side. Bobby Ryan to the line. Tries to feather it through the legs of the Islander defender to get it to MacArthur. Now Vanek sends it out to center. Tavares now. That's it to Vanek. Vanek inside the line. Vanek couldn't get a good shot away. It's a bad angle shot away. It's lying there in front of the crease. Still lying there. And now Phillips delays, finds his partner, and the stick of Leonard is slid back to him. And Ottawa heads up ice. Here's Grant. His shot. That goes off the stick of Andy McDonald up into the meshes. We have a look at our keys to the game. Brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
Well, those of you watching the game are probably way ahead of me, because one of the keys for the Ottawa Senators is simplicity. Dump the puck in, hit, work hard, get a shot on goal. They've done that already the first several shifts. For the Islanders, the 3 P's of success. What does that mean? Well, they're second best in the NHL on the power play. So power play production.
Back to the point. Here's Mathot. Down the wall. Trying to get around Bouchard. Backhands it in. Goes off the shoulder of Nabokov. Here's Condra now. Out the other side to the point. Weirkosh just tries to one-slap it through. It's knocked down. Back up ice. Here's a 2-on-1 to the line. Bailey drops it. Bouchard moves in. His shot right on. Leonard makes the save and smothers the rebound.
Leonard gotta feel good. That's a good save for him. Hadn't been in net for 4 games. Practices hard every day. Talked to Rick Wamsley, and he says this guy really competes. He really competes hard. That's what they like about Robin Leonard. He is now more comfortable. That is something every goaltender will tell you. If I can get a shot from the angle and I can get my hands on it, that's the way I get into the game.
We have a close look at his gloves and everything else that gets embroidered by the manufacturers. You'll notice that his nickname is the Leonard. Similar to the Kraken. Back to the point. Long drifting shot, gloved down by the Leonard. Scoreless here in period 1. Good start for the Senators here on Canadian Tire. Senators hockey.
Welcome back, everyone. Earlier tonight, the Molson Cup for the month of October was presented to goalie Craig Anderson. In 10 games in October, Anderson had a 4-4-2 record with a .911 save percentage. So a big congratulations goes out to Craig Anderson.
All right, and a nice donation on the way.
Well, listen, he'll accept that with a smile, but I can tell you the competitiveness of Craig Anderson does not make him quite satisfied with a 4-4 record in the month. The Ottawa Senators are looking at a stretch now where they can pretty much leave the Western Conference teams behind. Only one of the next 9 games will be against the West. I think that's a good thing.
Tavares centers the puck and does, but nobody from his squad is in front of the net to receive it. Bouncing puck now, Zibanejad out to center. 3-on-2 break for Ottawa. Gets it ahead. Here's Zach Smith. Back in front, Zibanejad can't get a handle on it as McDonald tied him up along the boards. Greiba comes down to hold it in as he pressures Vanek. Now McDonald lays it out to center. Jared Cowan comes over and just simply takes Opozo off the puck. Puck is deflected down to the Islanders' end. Here's McDonald. Gets it across. Hamilton. From St. Malo, Manitoba. Cross ice pass. Here's Hamilton again off the boards. Battles to get it back from Bobby Ryan. Clears the puck back out to safe ice. Greiba knocks it away, and here's Ryan. Slides it through the middle, loses the puck, and Tavares back to the line. Vanek throws it in for a tip. Unable to get a piece of it, though, is Opozo. Shot from the boards by Matt Carton. Another shot. Glancing blow off the blocker of Leonard. Back to the point. Hickey. Vanek back to the high slot. Carton again. His shot. Another blocker save. best pressure of the night so far by the Islanders. Through the middle and out to center. Wierkosh goes cross ice to the line. That's broken up right at the line with the good active stick of Brock Nelson to the line. Cizikas swings around the other side. Centers the puck. Matt Martin with a shot right on, and the save is made by Leonard. And now discussions begin.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
Now coaches will say, look, they're not doing what we tell them to do. Look at Wierkosh's pass right here. If that puck is dumped in the corner, it's a 2-on-1 advantage for the Senators. Instead, the puck gets turned over outside the blue line, and a very good shot on your goaltender, Leonard. This is where the simplicity has got to work, shift in and shift out. You get the puck in deep. If that happened, it would have been an odd man advantage in favor of the Senators in the Islander corner. Not bad.
Here's Carlson in behind his own net. Cross to Phillips through the middle. Here's Neal to the line. Dumps the puck off the glass and then goes in to chase it. Round the boards. Islanders clear the puck ahead. Carlson comes over and knocks Nelson off the puck. To the line again. Conacher couldn't go anywhere as Martin got the body on him. Not surprising. As Matt Martin is number 2 in the league in hits this year. He's in the top 1 or 2 every year. Back to the line. Down the wall, cutting through the slot, and the drifting shot doesn't get through. Back to the point. Broken stick. Neal picks up the puck but can't get it out. Frans Nielsen drops it back. Bouchard with the shot looking for the tip. Loose puck. Blocker save from Leonard. Off the boards, the puck is scooped up and out. And this will be an icing call and a face-off back in the Senators' end. As the early pressure that Ottawa got, the momentum has now shifted in 2 very strong zone time sessions for the Islanders in the Ottawa zone.
The Islanders have a lot of speed, but if they're in your zone, they're not. Look at the play by Spezza coming back. Just a little tap of the stick on the elbow of Bailey, and that made Bailey fumble the puck and not get the shot that he was going to have. Lesson learned. You got to come all the way back. Spezza did.
Spezza wins the draw out to center. Conacher slides it down to the line but doesn't get it deep enough. Back the other way. Here's Grabner. Winds, fires, glove down by Leonard, and he will hold on again.
Get an oil change by December 15th and get a free gift. Michelin Hybrid Wiper Blades. Get your coupon at MrLube.com.
Sure looks like Robin Leonard's got a pretty good feel of the puck. Grabner gives him another one. Robin Leonard's got a 2-1-1 record against the New York Islanders. Still, I mean, we've talked about it before. This kid, .940 save percentage. Amazing. And he hasn't won a game yet.
Here's a turnover. Cowan gives the puck away to Okposo. Now Zach Smith trying to regain it, trying to get it away from Tavares. Not an easy job. Back to the point. Hickey holds it in, but just barely. Along the boards. Trying to get a stick free, and then Vanek hits Cowan in the side of the head with his stick. So Vanek will go off, and Cowan is now showing the damage to the referee. May get 4 out of this. He got the stick right in the head. It's not intentional, but...
Well, you know what? Vanek is looking for position in front of the net, and he's going to battle all night. And there's where the stick was underneath Cowan's stick, and then it slipped up, and it caught Cowan at the end of the nose. It looks like Cowan will be okay, and it is, in fact, a 2-minute minor for high sticking. Must have control of your stick, and you can see how these things happen, but I think it's still a very good call to make. You just don't want to...
The Sounders had only 1 power play in the 6-5 loss on Tuesday in Chicago, and they scored on it. The Islanders have given up 2 power play goals in their last game, 4 in the last 5. As Ottawa goes in, but offside the call. And they face off will come back outside the New York line. Last year in the games between these 2 teams, so you've got discussions now between MacArthur and Hamonic.
Hamonic has shown a little bit of competitiveness, I would say, for... well, putting other words aside, he's the one who slammed down Ryan in the first shift. Little slap in the shin to MacArthur. He is not happy, and I'll tell you what, the Islander camp love this kid because of his competitiveness, and it doesn't sit well on Harmonic that they've lost 2 in a row. I like that.
He's got a bit of a nasty on.
Yep.
Carlson to the line, and he couldn't get in cleanly. Puck is cleared out. His Grabner shorthanded, busting in. Shorthanded chance. Save is made by Leonard. Carlson back the other way to the line. Spezza tries to hold on to it, give it back to Carlson. Round the boards. On the other side, here's Turris. They get everybody in, get everybody set up. Turris now back to the corner. Carlson along the boards to Spezza. Back to the high slot. And move it around off the boards. One more pass through the box, that gets tipped. Spezza tried to wheel it back, instead gave it away, and it's cleared back down the ice by Michael Grabner.
Grabner had his chance to clear breakaway, and big save, and I mean timely save for the Ottawa Senators by Leonard, giving his team a chance to do something with the man advantage.
Neal going in to pick up the puck, round the boards. Back to the point, it's tipped back out again. Here's Zizekas trying to chase it. Wierkosh gets there first on that last possession. Senators had 3 opportunities to shoot and passed on all 3. And then never did end up getting the shot. Again, they dump it in. Neal goes in to get it to beat the icing call. Everybody in the zone. Back to the point. Phillips can't hold it in. To the line again and in. To the boards now. Here's Wierkosh. Wierkosh run off the puck as McDonald just ran him into the official. Now it's cleared back down ice, and now Vanek is back out. And the Senators do not get a shot away on their power play. Now they give it away in their own zone. Back in front again. Here's a quick chance. Leonard makes the first save as Opozo gets a high shot away. Now Tavares back to the high slot. Vanek, his shot low and wide. Hickey comes down the wall to try and hold it in. Does. Throws it to the wide side. Harmonic with a shot. Kicked out by Leonard. McCulloch back to the net. Puck comes to the side of the net. Now Zibanejad trying to get it out, but Vanek steals it away from him. Here's Vanek, moves in, picks up a loose puck. Delays, waits, along the boards. Ottawa having a devil of a time getting it out. Opozo sends it back to front, bouncing puck, trying to get his own rebound. Puck is tipped back to the point. Hickey has it hit him. Islanders keep it in. Cowan along the boards. Zibanejad is jammed. Finally, they will carry it out to center. Here's McCulloch. End of his shift. Just lays it ahead for Condra. Condra, his shot. And he misses high. Regan runs it around the boards. And on the other side, Hickey falls. Here's a turnover. Zach Smith to Greeny. Can't get a shot away as Regan stayed on him. Harmonic now turning. Didn't like the looks of things. Tries the other side. Hickey out to center. Lead pass to Regan at the line. And that one whistled down on the offside. Still scoreless in period number 1. Robin Leonard has faced 13 shots so far.
Community hockey brought to you by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. As proud supporters of kids' community hockey teams across Canada, Scotiabank wants to hear how your team is impacting or giving back to your community. Tag your stories and photos using hashtag #ScotiaHockey for a chance to be recognized on an upcoming Senators broadcast.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. Face off just outside the Ottawa line. Puck slides by Martinez all the way back down ice. Back to pick it up. Doniger on him, sends it along the board. Spezza knocks it down. And it's gloved back out to center. Wierkosh just turns around, fires it back in. Off the boards. Donovan clears the puck ahead. Grabner sends it wide side. Martinez fires it down in the Ottawa end. Leonard out of the net, runs it around the boards himself. Takes a weird bounce and skips back out to center and down to the Islanders' end. Goes up and out of play. Face-off will come outside the Islanders' end.
Corey Conacher telling me today, well, maybe I'll become a shooter again. There was a time when he actually was the gunner, and he's talking about played 75 games in the American League. That was the only full year he played the American League with the Norfolk Admirals. That was at that time minor league team for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Scored 39 goals on the way to that team's winning the Calder Trophy, the championship. You know, that year they had a 28-game winning streak.
That was unbelievable.
That was an unbelievable run. And they won 15 of 18 in the playoffs to win the cup. Big team. American League, so he says maybe that'll show up again tonight. We're playing with Spencer, we'll see.
Turris to the line, loses the puck. Out to center. Here's Bouchard with it now. Bouchard dumps it in. And he's changing their defense as Hamonic and McDonald go off. Centering pass gets by everybody. Back to the line. Here's Hickey with a shot. Glove down by Leonard. And again, he will hold on. Scoreless in period 1 on Canadian Tire Senators Hockey.
This period brought to you by the new 2014 Toyota Camry, our most remarkable Camry yet.
Sportsnet U returns with OUA football. It's a semifinal doubleheader on Sportsnet 360. First, it's the Guelph Griffins taking on the Queens Golden Gales at 1 p.m. And it's McMaster Marauders versus the Western Mustangs at 4:30. Find a comfortable spot on the couch and settle in for both.
There you go. Thank you, Sean. Here's Opozo. Tries to take it to the net. Knocked off his stick by Greiba. Senators had a great start in this game. All kinds of pressure as Greiba comes in and lays out Opozo. So the first power play for the Islanders will come with Greiba going to the box. Ottawa came out with some great pressure. Denny led on the shot clock 4-0. Since then, the Islanders have outshot them 14-1.
Well, I tell you what, those were the first early shifts, but a loss in the face-off circle again. Tavares is 4-0, leads to a play on the Ottawa net, and then, of course, leads to the penalty. So you're chasing right off the face-off in your own zone, and you ask yourself, why are they taking penalties? It goes back to losing the face-off in your own zone.
Off the draw, Phillips back at the net. Back at the point, it's knocked down. Here's a race for it. Flying across ice. Mark MacArthur blows a tire. Back the other way. Here's Franz Nielsen down to the line. Lays it across. Looks to get it back. It's just out of his reach. Back along the boards. Opozo takes contact from Cowan. Puck comes back to the point. McDonald with a shot. That actually hits Opozo in the hip. 2-on-1 shorthanded. Turris. MacArthur. Turris with a shot. Puck is in behind or underneath Nabokov. He didn't know where he had it, but he knew he had it.
I tell you, if this was earlier in the shift, I think it might have worked a little better. MacArthur seemed to be tired at the end of the shift. Watch as the puck goes out, and MacArthur is trying his best to make it a 2-on-1, but he doesn't have the pump in the legs. He just doesn't get there to give Turris a second option. Turris almost made it happen shorthanded anyway, as Nabokov wasn't sure he had that shot.
Here's Grant. Off the draw, and now here's Matt Donovan with it. Donovan, one of the rookies on this team, just 23 last year in Bridgeport, had 48 points in 75 games as a defenseman. To the line and in, and the puck is quickly cleared back down ice. Sent the length of the ice by Erik Karlsson, who right now is back out there with his formerly normal partner, Mark Mafat, for this penalty kill. To the line and in. Islanders send it around the boards as Clutterbuck finds the other side. Back to the point, Bouchard. Back to the point, Bouchard. Works it across. Bouchard walks it down the wall. Bouchard. Back to the point. Donovan now. Goes cross ice. Islanders moving it around. Back to the point, through traffic. Glove down by Leonard. From the point, Josh Bailey tried to push it through a crowd, and Leonard gloved it.
Well, a good save by Leonard. I don't know if he has to worry about this so much, but I'll tell you what, the skaters on the bench, they better be sharp and listening all the time. Don't be daydreaming, because Dean mentioned the fact that Method is again on left now, and you got Karlsson back on right, two of them playing together. There's going to be a lot of different combinations, both up front and on defense, and you better be ready and listening when they call your name on the bench. Otherwise, you end up having too many men on the ice at times.
Nielsen with a shot right on again, and again, Leonard out top of the crease to make the save.
So the coaching staff is looking for something that can work. You know, all of the changes of lines is not that big a deal, folks, because this team and any team have a structure. So whether you're playing on the first, second, or third line, you know what the team structure is. You know what is demanded of you. And therefore, it's not that big a deal to have guys play out of their position for several shifts.
think the startling thing for everybody, Denny, is not so much the fact the lines were changed. That happens every day in the National Hockey League. Opposo. It was the fact that almost every single line was changed. I think that was the thing that kind of caught everybody's eye. Back to even strength now as Gryba's out of the box. Clearing attempt fails. Second one doesn't. As Gryba swats it back down ice. This will bring an icing call. And they face off back down in the Ottawa end.
Well, how about this, Dean? You know, you can think positively or think negatively. What if you're thinking positively? Now you've got a 30-plus goal guy in McCulloch on the third line. Jason Spezza, 30-plus goal 4 times. Ryan, 30-plus goal 4 times on line number 2. What if all of a sudden you've gotten yourself 3 scoring lines? Worth the experiment.
Well, you know, Paul McLean would love that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? That would be a coup for the coaching staff. And now it's just a question of his players delivering.
Parker dumps it in. It gives Ottawa the change they want. Jared Cowan double clutches, now turns to try and get away from Brock Nelson and floats it out to center. There's Matt Cartner. The former Senator slides it across to Thomas Hickey. Cross corners the puck. Weir Kosh in together. Up the boards. Puck is given away again inside the zone, as this time it was Bobby Ryan trying to get it across ice and it was knocked off the puck.
This period brought to you by the new 2014 Toyota Camry, our most remarkable Camry yet.
Well, the Senators were 1-6-1, 1 win out of 7 games against Western teams. And coming up now for Paul McLean's Senators, only one of the next 9 games will be against a Western team, and that's Dallas coming up on Sunday. Does that mean it's an easier, softer schedule? Well, we don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. We sure know how powerful the Western teams are, the ones we've seen. We're talking LA, we're talking San Jose, we're talking Anaheim, big win in Phoenix, but they needed to have 3 goals by Captain Spezza. So the first 12 games of the season, there you see 1-6-1 against the West, not very good. So you can bury that trip for a little while anyway. Focus on these.
In behind the net, Mafat ties up his man. Chris Neal sends the puck out to center. Conacher tips it in. Now he tries to cut it. Does! Can't get a shot away as he is hooked to the boards. Back to the point. Weirkosh puts the puck down low to the corner. Again, here's Conacher. Slapped away by Regan. Now it's picked up and Matt Donovan tries to get it up. Grabner finishes the job for him up to center. Here's Alex Martinez. Slaps it down into the Ottawa end. Heads off on a change. Chris Neal waits for it. Here's Neal. Peter Regan wound up for the big hit. And corkscrewed himself into the ice. Here's Bouchard. Drops it. Regan sends a shot in. Blocker saved by Leonard. Cross ice. Weirkosh to Mafat. Mafat down to the line. Here's Greeny. Greeny backhands it in. Picked up by Nabokov. The loose puck is picked up and controlled by Franz Nielsen. Then he takes a jolt from Greeny. Back to the line. Puck is held in. Condor with a shot. Scores!
Well, welcome to the first goal of the season for Eric Condra. And he has to be happy. I'll tell you what, he delivers a lot. Not very often will you see Eric Condra a minus in the standings, but he offers so much, and part of it is anticipation. Here I think you had the Islander defense looking for a line change. That's why there was such an opening. Hamonic was almost on his way to the bench. The puck gets turned over just inside the blue line, and now Condra's got a wide open lane, plenty of opportunity to look for the hole that he wanted, and he squeezes his first goal of the season through the arm and the leg of goaltender Nabokov. Obviously something's gone on there with the leg after the shot. But Condor is trying to walk it off and going to the team dressing room. We'll let you know when we know.
Puck is tipped down back inside the Islanders' end again.
Unassisted Jubilee County Judge Alex
Back to center. Here's Carter. Carries it in himself. Carter to the corner. Sends a shot into the flex off the leg to the other side. Failing. His shot tipped away. Off the boards. There's a shot by Carton. Misses wide. Hickey sends a shot in. That goes off the pad of Leonard. And now Zibanejad out to center. Pass in behind Zach Smith. Smith gloves it down, tips it ahead. Here's McCauley. Bad angle looking for the pass, and it's just tipped before it gets to Zibanejad. Out to the neutral zone. Opozo can't get through the crowd in the neutral zone. Loses the puck. And with 28 seconds remaining, Phillips drops it for Carlson. Carlson goes to the wing. Here's Zibanejad. Loads it up. His shot. Scores! Off the glove and in. 2-0 Ottawa.
Hello, Mika. Welcome back from Binghamton. Here is a kid who wants to make it happen. Gets a bit of a break on this one. Again, you've got stationary Islanders, and this should not be a very difficult save. Probably the fact that a butterfly goaltender goes down early. Certainly Nabokov figured that he had that in his glove. The shot had enough steam on it. Sometimes guys have what they call a heavy shot, and it hurts when it hits you. And sometimes it keeps going when you think it got it in the glove. So for Zibanejad, big goal for him as he gives his team a 2-0 lead. It is stalled in the last minute of the first period. Timely goal.
Here's Zizekas along the boards. Brock Nelson can't go anywhere with it. Carlson skates away from trouble, sends it off the glass as the horn sounds to end period number 1 as the Sounders score twice on just 9 shots on goal in period number 1. To discuss all this and much more, let's go to Hockey Central at the intermission. Brad May with Gord Selleck and your host, Darren Millard.
Your first period scoring summary brought to you by the Metro Ford dealers of Ottawa. Despite being badly outshot 18-9, the Senators up 2-0. Eric Condra scored his first of the season. Mika Zibanejad added his third to make it 2-0 for the Senators. Now joined by Jason York. Jason, like I mentioned, Senators badly outshot. Other than the first few minutes of that period, the Islanders took the play to Ottawa. But was it Robin Leonard that allowed the Senators to be leading 2-0 after one?
Absolutely, and it's funny, this morning at the morning skate, Robin Leonard was on 20 minutes before any of the other Ottawa Senators this morning. He was pumped and ready for this game tonight. And he needed to be, because he started off and he had to be ready, because after the first couple of minutes, the Islanders brought it. Out shooting the Senators 18-9 in that period. Shot after shot, but Leonard was up to the task, especially here. Short-handed, Michael Grabner came on. Leonard made the big stop, and the Senators got a little momentum from that, because then with the good forecheck, you saw Greening, Derek Grant with a hard forecheck, turn over to Eric Condra, deflected off the stick of Franz Niels, and that got them on the board. And after that, Erik Karlsson with a beautiful pass brings Mika Zibanejad. A little bit of a soft goal, but this is what happens when you simplify and you shoot the puck. Good things happen.
Jason, thank you for this.
Well, as we get set to start period number 2, as mentioned, they have made a change during the intermission. They went back, as the official scores always do, to review every goal. And that goal by Eric Condra, the puck actually wicks off the stick of Derek Grant. And as we have a look at it here, so this is his first NHL point.
Well, this is where the dump out is a little questionable because it doesn't go out. Let's watch the shot.
There we go. It's his first NHL point.
Take it.
You'd love it to be a big 2-on-1 where you saucer it across to the guy who scores top shelf for the game winner, but you don't always get it.
Well, you used to be able to call home and say, Dad, I went end-to-end for the goal.
Bouncing puck just deflects low and wide to Zizekas.
Of course, my dad here in Ottawa on radio would have it by the window, crackling sound. He'd say, well done, Diddy, well done.
You mean he could actually get Islander radio here?
Sometimes he could,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. Here's Zizic trying to take it to the net, but Zach Smith steals it from him. Gets it ahead now to center. Here's McCauley. Along the boards, puck is tipped to the corner. Hickey goes to get it. Zibanejad finishes his check. Hickey stays on the puck, though, and survives that. Opozo, long lead pass. Vanek tips it in, now tries to get to it. First spins, backhander, and Leonard just gets the knob of the stick on it. The big Austrian nearly outreached a very big Eric Greiber, which is not easy to do. Centering pass by Tavares, intercepted, and then he hooks Turris off the puck, and so Ottawa will go to the power play. This one an easy call for the low official as Johnny T got the stick in and hooked Turris backwards. Ottawa to the power play for the second time in this game.
Well, Jack Capuano, the coach of the Isles, obviously got to him a little bit. Thomas Vanek doing what he does best, trying to get open, trying to get to the front of the net. Here's a little bit of the hook. I don't know about that. That's kind of pretty skilled, I tell you what. To do all that with the one hand, Johnny Tavares gets penalized. Pretty skillful play, but the hook is called. And again, something that's happened quite a bit in the last several games, trying to get the power play more effective, I suppose. Paul DePlain going with 4 forward. And that would be Turris on the point.
Here's Turris, though, carries it low, back to Spezza. Through a crowd, his shot knocked down, puck is loose. And MacArthur had the puck at his feet, but couldn't bury it. As Grabner flips it back down ice. The first power play Ottawa had in this game, they did not get a shot on goal. It was not a memorable man advantage. MacArthur, back to Carlson. Carlson heaves in, slides it across for Bobby Ryan. Bobby Ryan snaps it back to the point. Rolling puck. Carlson stops, switches spots with Turris, gives it to him. One-timer, just missed. Here's Spezza off the wall. Back to Carlson. Carlson gives it back to Spezza. Drops it back. Carlson chops it. Turris, one-timer, hits the post.
I tell you what, a good play. The Senators had everything covered. That went off the post, and you had Jason Spezza coming in on goal. The puck just got by him. Pretty good execution there. Just no reward.
They haven't scored, but this power play is night and day better than their first one. Back to the point. Here's Carlson. Gets it across. Turris. MacArthur tries to go through the box. Held in. Spezza back in front. Here's Carlson. Tees it up, slaps it back to the corner, takes an awkward bounce. Turris there to hold it in. Spezza back to the point. Bobby Ryan to the corner. Gets it back in traffic. Can't get a shot through. The puck is cleared back down ice by a diving McDonald.
That's a couple of very, very good defensive plays on this penalty kill for the Islanders. McDonald.
Back to even strength now. Phillips through the middle to Zach Smith at the line. Stripped to the pocket on the follow-up. Phillips carries on in. Delayed offside call forces him to back out in the neutral zone. Zibanejad with a strip, but it's picked up in the Islanders inside the Ottawa end once again. Puck is turned back in front. Vanek, his shot low and wide. You're going to give it away in your own end. I'm not sure 26 is the guy you want to put it on this thing.
Vanek's on the ice. You don't want to put anything through the high slot. That's where he lives.
Puck is flipped through center and actually up into the penalty box. So face-off. The Islanders want this to be a delay of game penalty as the puck went over the glass and into the penalty box.
See Andrew McDonald right there, 47, fighting against MacArthur. Does a good job. MacArthur thought he might have had the open net. Off the goalpost, right side. In comes Spezza. Puck goes by him. Good execution by the Ottawa Senators. Turris playing the part of a defenseman. What a lucky guy, getting an opportunity to blast from a very comfortable spot that he has sort of created for himself over the last couple of years. On the left side, a right-hand shot.
Islanders won their argument, and Ottawa is going off in the box. McCulloch, 2 minutes for delay of game.
There's that little bingo right there.
Power play for the Islanders now. Back to the point. Donald slides it across. Pozo low to the corner. One-time pass. Vanek tried to push it by Jared Cowan. And the play is whistled down as the puck was gloved ahead by Vanek while he was lying on the ice. So the face-off comes back outside the Senators' line.
I find it interesting that the league looks at the delay of game call in such an instance with a puck over the glass. They say you shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, that's just that's just skill, you know. Get the puck inside. Well, McCulloch's a pretty skillful player. These things happen. Tough call, I think.
McDonald, his shot tipped in front to the corner. Phillips snaps it off the boards, and Grant finishes that job, hacking it back down to the Islander line. McDonald again through the middle. Franz Nielsen throws it across. Opozo inside the zone. Vanek skulks to the high slot. Tavares waiting back at the point. Here he is, John Tavares. Low to the corner. Vanek in on the cycle, swings it back in front. Tavares cuts to the net. Grant clears it off the boards, back down ice. Senators will change 3 of their 4. Phillips on the wide side can't get off.
Good shift by Grant, 57, just coming up from the American League. Doesn't hesitate. Gets the puck, fired out the board.
To the line and in. Quick shot. Leonard makes the good save off a snapshot from Cal Clutterbuck. Get out of ice level here, Sean.
Thank you, Dean. Tickets for the first half of the season are on sale now, including Montreal's first visit on Thursday, November 7th. For more information, visit capitaltickets.ca.
All right, thank you. 46 seconds remaining in the penalty to McCulloch.
That's a good shot. Cal Clutterbuck is not known as a big-time scorer. He's got a goal and assist, but good release by the acquisition that came out of Minnesota.
Only had 4 goals last year, and none of them on the power play. He's an energy guy. Always in the top 10 in the league in hits. Drop back pass through the middle. Leonard makes the save. Puck is loose. He's looking for it. Finds it. Covers it.
Well, Jack Capuano's got a pretty good power play. Overall, it's second in the NHL, but he understands that he'd like to see something on the road. I mean, they are 10 for 39 overall, but only 1 for 8 on the road. So a power play that shows up as better than 25% overall for the New York Islanders is 12.5% on the road.
I know Wisniewski certainly that plays a part. He's out missing his 5th game with a concussion. That's obviously going to change things. But they say that young Donovan, Matt Donovan, since he's come up, good offensive defenseman in that case, got a shot through. Along the boards of Pozo. It's pinned by Cowan. Back in front. And the one-timer never actually gets to the net as Nielsen had it slide under the heel of his stick. Franz Nielsen leaves it. Opozo back inside the line. Curls. Vanek was expecting the drop. Now Pozo moves in. Goes low to the corner. Phillips jams Nielsen. Kicks it to Condra. And Condra tries to shovel it out but can't get enough on it. McCulloch is out now. There's a shot. Deflected through traffic. Leonard gets across. Wide open net. Back to the point. On the backside. Leonard gets a piece of that snapshot. As McDonald fired one through, he got part of the blocker on it. Out to center. Here comes Condra and McCulloch. Condra tried to feed McCulloch. Couldn't get it to him. McCulloch swing and miss at the second bounce. 3-on-2 break the other way to the line. Tavares cuts in, but offside on the wide side is Nelson. 2-0 Ottawa leads, period 2.
Grand Slam of Curling continues with the Masters. You can watch that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can find it on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West, and Pacific.
Well, you see the play here. Condra's got the puck right now. He's struggling with his skating. And he tried to make the pass, try to get out. See, right now he's going to go to the bench. He's really hobbling from that play. He went to the bench and again back to the dressing room. You may have known, as we were talking about, right after his goal, something happened. He went to the dressing room, came back for another shift. That was it. He's still not feeling well. So we'll wait and see. Condra is still in the dressing room being evaluated.
Out to center, puck drifts to the Ottawa line, and here's Mark Mafat. Swings across ice for Weirkosh. And he takes some contact from Matt Martin. Back down to the Islander line. There's Matt Carter with it. Giveaway, Neal with a steal. Into a shift, though, lobs it to the corner. Conacher goes to get it. It's in on Cartner, tries to knock the puck down. Cartner goes down, now gets back up again. Scrambles to get back on the puck, does. Back along the boards. Here's Cartner again. Tries to get some relief from Hickey, who just flares it back out to center. Greeny to the line. Zibanejad, his shot, big rebound off the pad of Nabokov, but ended up right on the stick of Zizekas. Alan Greeny back inside the line, tries to go wide side. Mika Zibanejad blows a tire back the other way. Here's Grabner. Phillips dives to tip it away from him and disrupts it just enough. Grabner recovers. Carlson runs it along the board. Zibanejad gets there, and he chops it by McDonald back down ice.
Grabner, you know, one of the fastest, if not the fastest skater in the NHL.
Here's Hamonic to center. Hamonic carries it to the line and in. And then he's met by Greiva. Saskatchewan boy and a Manitoba boy.
Been feisty today.
There's a steal by Regan. Regan falls. Kyle Turris puts it to a safe spot in behind the net. Phillips now turns up ice, finds MacArthur. MacArthur cuts through the middle. Turris inside the line. Got a weak shot away. His stick was tied up. Back of the net, trying to center the puck along the boards. Here's Ryan. Ryan tries to go through the middle to get it to MacArthur. That hits a stick, and the Islanders back out to center until Ryan steals it away. Bobby Ryan. Lyons fires, it deflects to the corner. Here's Bouchard now. Sends it through the middle. Donald to the line. Plays it to wing it to the turn. Oh, what a save by Leonard. Leonard absolutely robs McDonald.
I'll tell you what, the end of the shift is brutal, and it's crucial that you do the right thing. Left side of your screen, take a look. Turris and Ryan trying to come back, but at the end of the shift, and all of a sudden, the guy's left wide open. This is what develops in this shot right here as Andrew McDonald, the defenseman, is able to get to the net, get a great shot, and Leonard, the last line of defense, comes up with the key saves here and protects the 2-goal lead his team has. Boy, you can't overextend your shifts. You just cannot. Those are the kinds of things that end up happening. You miss an assignment.
Islanders off the drop. Martinez shot. Blocker to the corner. Carlson goes after that. Back of the net. Opozo. Opozo trying to bring it back to the front of the net. Here's Donovan off the side of the net. Vanek tries to wrap it around. Back to the point. Puck is held in by Opozo. Tavares. Run into the boards. There's a shot deflected off the stick of Zibanejad from Opozo. Vanek digs it out. Here's Opozo. Sends a shot through right on. Save is made. Vanek sends it in front. Backhander scores! What a pass! Vanek backhands it. The no-look backhand to Tavares, and the Islanders are on the board.
Neither player got a point in the last game against the Rangers. What you just saw is a little bit of why Garceau, the general manager, feels he is going to get a lot more out of these two because they are such great automatic offensive players. That is just an instinct play. They haven't played enough to know one another that well, but just having the respect of the two superb talents, you gotta figure Tavares is going to be somewhere around the net. And a nice back pass by Vanek to get Tavares' goal.
Hamonic falls. Conacher with a steal. Conacher tries to feed the point, but knocked off his stick by Brock Nelson. Puck hops up in the air. And the Islanders break it up. Stars had a 10-game point streak going until the game against the Rangers on Tuesday ended it. Puck is deflected off a skate and in, and we're tied. And Matt Carkner may get credit for this. I believe it may have gone off the skate of Wiercott.
Well, either that or Matt Martin will get it because Matt Martin was standing right there. This is an unbelievable turn of events. Almost as quickly as the Ottawa Senators got their 2 goals at the end of the second period. Here you have the New York Islanders, obviously a much better period by the Islander hockey team coming into period 2. And now it's all tied up. How quickly things change. Wow.
I think you're right. I think that did go off. I think Matt Martin took a swing at it. A rolling puck, just why not? And got the reward, and very quickly. This thing is now all tied up at 2.
As well as Robin Lehner has been playing, keep in mind, The Senators have allowed 32 shots.
Bounces off the glass.
Shots against have been a real puzzling situation for a team that usually did not allow nearly this many shots in past year, year and a half, 2 years if you want. Right now, we're just midway through the second period. And even though it looked like this game was pretty much in control with the lead, again, another lead that was lost by the Senators, 32 shots.
Matt Martin does get credit for the goal. Here's a giveaway again inside the Ottawa end of the corner. Bailey tries to center it, side of the net. Leonard trying to hold the post. And finally we get a whistle and a face-off when we return. Tied at 2 in the back half of period 2 on Canadian Tire Sanders Hockey.
Premier League action continues tomorrow. First is Newcastle and Chelsea at 8:30 a.m. on Sportsnet East Ontario West and Pacific. Then at 10:30 on Sportsnet East Ontario West and Pacific, it's Stoke City and Southampton. Then it's Hull City taking on Sunderland at 10:30 a.m. and that is on Sportsnet World. And to finish it off, it's Arsenal and Liverpool at 1 p.m. on Sportsnet East Ontario West and Pacific. A full day of soccer to get your fix.
So 2 goals from the Islanders in 28 seconds has dramatically changed the complexion of this game. Back in the zone net, here's Martinez off the boards. Back along the boards, McCulloch holds it in. Now trying to dig it out. Back to the point, Cowan. Sends it back low to the corner. Donovan around the boards. Islanders have the center with it. Through the middle. Martinez line fires, misses low. Puck to the other side, misses Jared Cowan. Hustles to get there, but not before Opozo does. Here's Opozo. Gets it back to the point. Through traffic, there's a shot. Low and just wide. Martinez drops it back to the point. I'm not sure who he thought might be there to get it. Tavares does go back to get it. Locked into the corner by Leonard. Off the boards. Driver comes over, knocks his man down. Cross-ice pass. Here's Hamonic now. Sends a shot and save his mate. Opozo goes in looking for the rebound, but Leonard gloves it and holds on. Back down to ice level. Here's Sean.
Thank you, Dean. Just an update to bring your way on Eric Condra, who left the game. The Senators confirmed he strained a muscle in his right leg, and he will not return to the game tonight.
Now this is where the strain happened. See, he got hit right after the shot where he got the goal. Right now, he's wondering, is it my skate? Why is it hurting me a little bit on the leg? So he goes out, probably taking a look at his equipment, and all the while he's realizing, I've got a bit of a strain. Came back for the next shift where he tried to make a 2-on-1 happen, and he lost his skating ability. You could see that he didn't have the pump in the right leg, and now he's out with a strain.
With a shot, another rebound from Nabokov.
He got hit right after shooting the puck.
Puck was cleared off the glass out to center. Bobby Ryan didn't realize it was behind him. Here's Bouchard to the line. Ryan gets a piece of him, then steals the puck from him. Out to center. Ryan, end of the shift, no gas left in the tank, tips it to the corner. Back along the boards. Shovel to the point. Carlson delays, Ryan fires, big save. Here comes with a shot. That will knock down. Scores! Rebound goal, side of the net, Bobby Ryan.
I tell you what, I get a text from a friend of mine and they're saying, where's Billy Smith? The Islanders are not getting the goaltending. This is obviously a lot of pressure. Stands out Nabokov, doesn't get ready for the shot, doesn't position himself well, and the puck just slides through his legs. This is the shot, and there it is, a nice present for Bobby Ryan, and something that none of the defensemen can help him with. So in my estimation, those have been 3 questionable goals the Senators have gotten on Islander goaltender Nabokov.
Weird puts the puck out of play, and now the argument is with the linesman. The first one on the scene claimed that he was outside the blue line, thus there is no penalty. Now they will huddle and discuss.
Well, it depends. He was not outside the blue line. But no penalty is being called.
So the debate is now over, and now a discussion with Jack Capuano.
Yeah. Well, it appears that he was inside the blue line, meaning the defensive zone, and that normally is the key for a delay of game call.
Linesman on that side, though, went down.
Yeah.
His view was that he was not inside. We have the advantage of replays. They do not.
Even then, we didn't get that great a view, so I hate to say comment on the call, but it's a break for the Senators. They're getting a break on the goal.
That's inside the line. Dumps a puck to the corner. Here's Chris Neal. Back along the boards. Shot to the side of the net. Hickey picks it up. Off the boards, and Matt Martin now sends the puck ahead. Spezza with a steal. Spezza turns back, floats it to the line, gives it away. The puck is shoveled back down to the Ottawa end by Cizikas. Puck to the corner. Nelson along the boards. Has it knocked away from him. Spezza turns to get it out. Doesn't do it quick enough. Gets another chance and does get it back out to center. Martinez back together. Off the boards and it's center. Peter Regan bats it backhand down into the Ottawa end. Puck is deflected up high in the air, and that one goes out of play.
Get an oil change by December 15th and get a free gift. Michelin Hybrid Wiper Blades. Get your coupon at MrLube.com.
Well, if you thought there was some line juggling at the beginning of the hockey game with all the new combinations, you're going to see a lot more of it. You know, Condra is a tough loss. I mean, he plays third, fourth line, mostly fourth line, but he's almost a 12-minute-a-game player and is really relied upon to kill penalties and to keep things safe in the zone for his own team. So without him in the lineup, we're bound to see a lot of different line combinations.
Despite the fact that everyone agrees, here's Greening with a shot that doesn't get through. Everyone agrees that Erik Karlsson, like the rest of his team, has not had the kind of start he would want. As Clutterbuck gets a shot away, Leonard's got it, doesn't know where it is. Despite the fact that Karlsson has not had the kind of start that he wants, it just tells you where this guy is. He's got 2 points tonight. Came into the night tied for the league lead amongst defensemen in points, and he has admittedly had not even close to the kind of start he had hoped for. And once again, you do wonder what the upside potential is for this guy points-wise if he gets it going and this team gets it going.
Well, it's immeasurable, and here's another statistic that'll probably not surprise you, but other than Mike Green of the Washington Capitals, there is no player in the NHL that stays on the ice longer per shift. 59 seconds on average are his shifts.
Posa with a steal, glove down by Leonard. Ottawa up by a goal here late in the second.
You need goaltending in this league, there's no doubt about it. And right now, I don't think the Islanders have gotten it. That was a fairly weak shot. Goal by Condra. You know that was a shot goaltenders should get on Zibanejad. And this one here was another, 50-foot shot. You see it. You get it in your pads. Unable to hang on to it, to the benefit of Bobby Ryan, who scores the go-ahead goal and happens to get his 300th career point on that goal.
A twisted draw won by the Senators round the boards. Out to center, lead pass for MacArthur just out of his reach, and Bobby Ryan threw his head back. He knew that he could have sent MacArthur off to the races, and he missed him by 3 feet. And that one is hurting. You can tell Bobby Ryan is not happy with himself.
Well, this is a twosome, and then you can add Turris. Pretty happy about this line. There's that pass right there. Oh, how close it could have been. You gotta like it when a guy like Bobby Ryan takes a pass in the neutral zone that seriously. That means something. That line has played well, and Ryan has impressed me in the fact that he is hit, he is back-checked, and he has scored.
MacArthur moves in, his shot blocked. Rebound, rolling, and Tavares clears it away. Grab it. Knocks it away from Oposo, but it's picked up, and on the way back down, Vanek gets a shot away. Gets it back. This time Jared Cowan pokes it off the stick. Puck is cleared. No hesitation coming out of the zone. Here's Ryan. Leaves it there. MacArthur walks into it. Tries to wrap around the puck off. In behind him. They're pointing in. The goal line goes on. Right now, the official now says it's a goal. A very late goal call by the referee. You know this is going to be reviewed.
Well, we've often talked about the skinnier nets, a little less bulk to the outside of the net that rounds out. It allows guys to do this. A lot of players have done the wraparound and been successful. And you know right from the beginning, I knew it, as MacArthur is crossing the hash marks, that he's going to try and wrap around. Why did Nabokov not seem to be able to react as quickly? They're going to review it. The official on the ice pointed that there was a goal.
Not that last but the replay before the side view, you could actually see the puck go through his legs and into the white paint. That's probably the better view than the overhead, because the overhead is somewhat obstructed, but the view that we had right before that one, actually you could see the puck on the wraparound go between his legs and in. And remember, with the referee on the ice signaling goal, the replay has to be definitive that the call is wrong.
Well, all of the angles are certainly looked at. NHL does this every night. Yeah, there it is. It went in and he scooped it out with his glove. You're right. I mean, the left hand, you just saw a flash of the puck. So there's got to be an angle that shows that that puck is conclusively in the white
now watch
paint.
this come between his legs right there.
Yeah.
See, it's right behind his leg. It's 5 inches inside the white paint.
Yeah.
That's magnifying.
Yeah.
Now watch his glove.
There's that puck. Yeah. Well.
So I hate to do this because sometimes you can look really foolish, but I can't see how this one gets overturned because the call on the ice was definitively a goal by the referee, and we can see that the puck is in. But even if you were to contend that you can't see the puck because of his glove is a foot inside the net, they can't overturn this in the war room because they can't actually see the puck. So let's wait and see what the call is, but I can't imagine this being overturned. But then again, wouldn't be the first time I look like an idiot. So let's just see what happens here. Here we go.
After video review, we have a good goal on the ice.
Yeah. Good goal on the ice.
All right,
you're back to normal, my friend.
I've averted idiot status for another day.
Halloween is over. You can take the idiot mask off. Here we go.
Sadly, I wear it every day.
Capuano should be taking out his goalie. That's what I think should be happening. That's 4 questionable goals. I mean, give MacArthur certainly a lot of credit for going to the net, but this is something that goaltenders know how to do. I mean, they know how to get across. He gets the paddle down late. The leg gets all wrapped up in the far corner. And so in my estimation, you got 4 questionable goals. You've outshot the other team 37-16, and you're down by 2 goals. You know what? The telephone line between Garth Snow and Darcy Regier might still be hot, as many people are figuring that Ryan Miller, the goaltender, will be out of Buffalo on another trade. Well, the Sabres and the Islanders just got a trade made. Maybe there's another coming.
Bailey sends a shot in, knocked down, and Bouchard goes looking for a rebound, but Leonard sucks it up and holds on to it as Ottawa now again sporting a 2-goal lead.
You know, admittedly, you've got a team that has a lot of speed, a lot of youth. It's something that Garth Snow has been trying to put together for a long time. You make a move to get a guy like Vanek, because if the Islanders can make the playoffs again this year, that would be the first time in over a decade that the franchise has made the playoffs 2 years in a row. That's a big part of why he made the deal for Vanek, who can bring him that goal-scoring ability to get them over the top. But if you still need goaltending, not the goaltending you saw tonight by Nabokov, But regular NHL goaltending, certainly the Islanders have a shot at getting back into a playoff situation. A team that is, well, speculated going into the season as a team on the rise.
The postseason for the second time in 7 years last year. The round one loss to the Penguins, but the Penguins got all they could handle out of this Islander team last year. Ottawa breaks it out. Here's Zach Smith, floats the puck ahead. Connick chases it down. Puck hops over his stick, gets control again. Hickey steals it. Back to the point, Greiba holds it in, just fires it towards the net. Puck bounces, and it actually hits Nabokov in the shoulder. Back to center now. Matt Martin dumps it in. Leonard steers it to the corner. As I mentioned, the Islanders made the postseason for the second time in 7 years. They missed 5 straight years since the round one loss to Buffalo, actually. 4-1 round one loss in 06-07. Jared Cowan now. He pass over the center, misses Spezza back to the line again. Here's Gabner with a shot. Not all of that. Missed. Martinez holds it in. Cowan in the corner. Comes off the boards of the puck. Sends it ahead. But Grant hit as the puck arrives out to center now. Here's Spezza. Floats it in from the neutral zone. Grant to go and get it. He goes down after colliding with Martinez. Martinez then elbows him in the back of the head. We've got a player down in the neutral zone now. Is in the middle of the ice. Slow in getting up is Cal Clutterbuck.
Local sports on Rogers TV. Your community, your teams. For the most local sports, watch Rogers TV.
Well, there's the hit. Grant goes down, but it's
Martina gives him a shot in the head. And then in the neutral zone, Clutterbuck is taken down. Zach Smith is in the penalty box. I don't think Zach Smith really liked Martinez's attempt to hit Grant in the back of the head. Clutterbuck is now left and is going to the locker room.
All right, we'll take a look to the right side of your screen. There's the high stick at Clutterbuck. Oh, my goodness. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. The tap of the head with the hockey stick. Didn't realize it made your toes soft.
So now the Islander door is open, and Matt Martin will serve this. Not entirely sure what, if anything, Matt Martin did.
Yeah.
Clutterbuck has received a penalty. Not sure for what. It may have been for diving, but we'll get
well, it would certainly be understandable.
Yeah, so we got the unsportsmanlike for
Perfect.
diving. So you get the high stick, which was there, and you get the diving, which was there. So
exactly. That's a good call.
Those are good calls.
Well, you hate that. You know, if nothing else, you're trying to embarrass the referee. Don't do that.
Islanders penalty in the Detroit Islanders. But the amount is Cal Clutterbuck.
Hamonic with it now. Along the boards. Tries to slide in around Cowan. Cowan jars him off the puck. Hamonic recovers and puts Cowan into the boards. Out to center now. Here's Kyle Turris. Cuts in his shot. Misses low and wide. Off the boards. Islanders clear it ahead. Held in. MacArthur to the corner for Turris. Turris back to the point. Greiba lines and fires. Glove down by Nabokov, and he holds on.
This HD broadcast presented by Bell 5 TV. Watching hockey just got better.
An opportunity to skate 4-on-4, an opportunity to get the wheels going, and you've got young Zibanejad on the ice. You've got Nikolic, arguably two of the very best skaters for the Ottawa Senators on the ice now in a 4-on-4 situation.
Off the draw, McCulloch digs it free, trying to get a shot away. That hit a leg and went to the corner. He was bound up with Hickey right off the draw. Donovan now. Looking up ice. pass, and the Zone is knocked down.
Well, that was too easy for Carlson to read. Now the young Donovan made a telegraphed pass.
Mickey now along the boards. He is driven off the puck by McCulloch out to center. Carlson. And Bouchard draped all over him. Turning with it now. Here's Matt Donovan. Down to the Ottawa line. Lays it across. Goes to the net. Bouchard drops it there. Here's Opozo. Stutter steps in the corner. He tries to get away from Phillips, who follows him back up high. There's a shot. Deflected on the way there. Scores! Bouchard gets his own rebound and makes it a one-goal game.
You know, there's a couple of ways you defend in your own zone. One is man-on-man. The other is zone defense. You'll see how the man-on-man gets very confusing at times. Watch left side of your screen. The four guys are in good position now, okay? You've got the four corners. Now you've got three guys there. Man-on-man. Look at the chasing going on by Zibanejad, leaving the whole left side of the ice totally wide open for Matt Donovan, who gets the initial shot off. And then, of course, you've got the goal by Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Man-on-man defense left the whole half the ice open for Matt Donovan to start the offensive play.
Here's McDonald watching his shot. Saved by Leonard. Loose puck. He falls. Spezza back the other way, but Grabner, with those great wheels, catches him. So Spezza takes a turn, now heads into the zone. Lines and fires, misses high. Off the boards, Weirkoff tries to pinch in to hold it in. Bouchard, with his second of the year, had just 8 all of last year. 43 games, and we get whistles as Zach Smith comes out of the penalty box. And did he leave early?
I think he did.
Walked out of the box and apparently interfered. Be the shortest shift in NHL history. I'm not sure it's a second.
Yeah, that's the push there by Greening. Is that what they're calling interference?
No.
No?
I have no idea what he's calling, to be honest with you.
Yeah, where's that? We got some pretty experienced guys on this game, and they don't seem to know.
Donald with a shot, hits the post. It's lying there close to the point. Finally go to the play period. Penalty call is on the way. We're going to get a hold, I believe, against Jared Cowan, but we'll see what comes of this. And this could be a very long, yes, Jared Cowan, I believe, is going to get called for the hold. So 1 minute and 52 seconds, 5-on-3.
This shot here is, I don't know, did it sound like a goalpost?
It was goalpost.
Oh, yeah, there he is, yep. Pretty clear. Yep. The Ottawa Senators, who are 30th in the NHL in giving up shots on a per-game basis with 37 on average. 37 on average, and now allowed 42. That last shot was not a shot on goal. They hit the goalpost.
I think the one that's going to be most puzzling is when they go to review the video between periods in the Senators' coach's office. They're going to have to try and figure out exactly who or what Zach Smith interfered with to draw his penalty. One goal game, 5-on-3 power play for the Islanders.
It's more likely that the play we saw Greening make was the interference.
They may have just mistaken 15 for 14. Nonetheless, 5-on-3. Opozo leaves the puck there. 28 seconds to go in the period. Here's Opozo. Drops it back to the high slot. McDonald. Go to the corner. Tavares. And that one deflected up into the mesh.
Now this is a young phenom who's a terrific ambassador for the NHL. John Tavares. Forget all the skill. He stands there today and just talks to all of the media people one after another. Really a fine young man who's developing into a star hockey player in Long Island. Soon to be Brooklyn.
Here's McDonald to the corner. Tavares. McDonald, the shuttle across. Quick shot. That's deflected into the glass. 5 seconds to go in the period. McDonald back in front for one more try. Low bouncing puck skips in front of it. Tried to backdoor it again for Tavares. They couldn't connect. but they will come back with 57 seconds of 5-on-3 time to open up period number 3. Ottawa up by a goal after 40 minutes of play. Hockey Central at the intermission. Brad May, Gord Stelling, and as always, your host. Here is Darren Millard. Second period scoring summary brought to you by The Brick. Nobody beats The Brick for furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs.
Well, certainly a wild and woolly period for the New York Islanders and the Ottawa Senators. The Senators at the end of the day end up having a 1-goal lead going into period number 3. Their record on the year is a 2-1-1 when they have a lead going into the third period. There you see the shots on goal, power play opportunities, 3 for the Isles, 2 for the Senators. No damage while with the man advantage.
Down to ice level, Sean and Jason.
Thank you, Dean. Jason, the Senators being very badly outshot, but they still lead 4-3. Part and thanks to Bobby Ryan, whose third goal, seemed to stop the bleeding. What have you liked about his game?
Well, it's been an up and down night for a lot of the Ottawa Senators. Early on in this game, Bobby Ryan wasn't very good, especially on the boards. You see him give the puck away. After this, the Islanders get a chance. Ryan goes to the bench, and you see Paul McLean's like, come on, let's get going. We need you, Bobby, if we're going to win this game. And there you see a little extra effort in the neutral zone. Ryan gets the puck deep, gets here on the forecheck, and you watch him finish his hit. Doesn't get enough credit for being the physical player he has been the last couple of games. Carlson gets the shot. Another shot on net. There's Ryan. Johnny on the spot. And that was a big goal because the Islanders were starting to surge. And then Ryan with a nice little drop pass provides a little bit of time and space. And you see Clark MacArthur finish it off there.
Jason, thank you. Dean Denny, take it away.
All right, as we get set to start period number 3. We were grinding on Furlad and Martel, the referees, saying that this was a blown call on Zach Smith. See the stick there? That's Zach Smith's stick, except he's still in the penalty box. That's why it's interference. It's also the power of Twitter. Paul Hennessy tweeted me during the intermission and said, hey, I think that went off Smith's stick. We rolled back the tape, and sure enough, there it was.
Look at a call.
Lucky Paul. Back in front of Pozo, low to the corner. Nielsen sends it to the crease. It's still lying there. The Islanders recover it. Opozo gives it, gets it, shuttles it low. Opozo whiffs on his shot. Puck is cleared back to the point, but not out, and finally is slapped back out. And the Islanders guilty of too many passes without a shot on the 5-on-3.
And none of the passes on the sticks to the right guys.
To the line, Nielsen is in. Zach Smith set to return. I'm certain he will be sure to not play the puck with his stick while his feet are still in the penalty box. It's cleared back there nice. It's a 5-on-4 now. Cowan is back out now, and the Senators have burned off a 1-minute and 52-second 5-on-3. That's a huge kill. At the center, Spezza. Bailey takes the puck away from him, turns back. Back to the point, shot. And knocked away, through traffic, there's another one, deflects off the crossbar. And the puck is cleared back out to center. Here's McCulloch. Slapped away, and now Mafat at center. In the neutral zone, stripped of the puck. But Spezza gets it back, and safely dumps it back down inside the Islander end. Is deflected out to center, Grabner tips it across. Here's Bailey. Tries to take it to the net, and McCulloch nicely just doesn't allow him to physically get there. Back to the line. Hickey holds the puck in. Zach Smith strips him. Turris calling for it. Gets it. Here's Turris. Busting in. Gets a shot of a glove down by Nabokov, and he holds on.
Molson Canadian invites you to watch the game from your Sens Army headquarters. Go to OttawaSenators.com for a list of locations, including these fine establishments.
Now this all works out deep in the zone right here. Nice play by Zach Smith, who has been called one of the most consistent forwards by his coach. Sets it up for Turris, who gets the shot off. Not sure that shot would have been on goal. Excellent defensive play by Zach Smith.
On Greening, back to the point. Weirkosh sends it through. It's deflected over top of the net. Here's Neal. Neal tries to turn it back to the front of the net. Back to the corner. Matt Martin at the center. His clearing attempt knocked down by Chris Neal. Greening flips it to the other side, tries to go and chase it. Here's Greening. Greening in the corner. Knocked off the puck. It's cleared back out to center as Chris Neal puts the shoulder into Brock Nelson. To the neutral zone. Greening cross corners the puck into the Islander end. He makes a quick turn as Neal and Carpenter bounce off each other inside the Islander zone. Zach Smith loses the puck. Here's Bouchard trying to turn back. Gets it to Nielsen. Drops it back again. Puck is deflected to the corner. Here's Phillips with it. Phillips turns under pressure. Sends it up the boards. Carpenter comes down the wall to hold it in. Other side. Islanders trying to turn something to the net. Here's Hickey. Sends a shot through backside play. Scores! Nielsen down the backside. Ties the game at 4.
What a play by defenseman Hickey. That was really very, very impressive how Hickey down low was able to get the puck and then saw Frans Nielsen. By the way, the Islanders' leading scorer. This is just a simple cycle. Not a big deal. But watch how Hickey comes down and threads a pass through the seam. 3 defenders right there. That is a wonderful pass by Thomas Hickey. And I tell you what, Frans Nielsen, who's having a whale of a season, finds himself with an open net. And this game is tied up.
Nielsen picks up his 8th of the year. Sneaking down the backside. Nothing but space. Here's Mathot. It's Spezza in the skates. Rather to the line. Here's Regan. Puts the puck to the corner. Conacher runs it around the boards. Ottawa unable to get it out again. Here's Regan. Weirkosh falls. Regan swings it around the net. Out the other side. Back to the point. McDonald takes it in the skate. Just throws it back to the corner again. Spezza. Now they're on the line with Conacher and Grant. Paul McLean has put everything in the blender. He's just trying to find something that works. Islanders run it around the boards, back out to center. Cowan puts it back to the line, but Conacher was still inside the zone. Down to ice level, here's Sean.
Thank you, Dean. Make sure you come out and support the troops this Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. as the Sens host Canadian Forces Appreciation Day. For more information, you can go to capitaltickets.ca.
Thank you very much. Back-to-back goals from the New York Islanders near the end of period 2 and now here in period 3 have taken them from 2 down to tied up. Here's Martinez now. Turns it back into zone, gets it across. Donovan sends the puck ahead. Tavares works it down to the Ottawa line. Callan off the boards out to center. Put it into the skates of McCarthy. Here's Bobby Ryan. Ryan cuts in as he tried to get around Donovan. Steered to the corner by Nabokov. Turris back to the point. Driving. Sends a shot through. Puck is knocked down. Cleared but not out. MacArthur sends it around the boards on the other side. Here's Opozo to get it. Back along the boards. Tavares out to center. Spin around it in the neutral zone to get away from Cowan. The late man Martinez lines up his shot. Blocking the way to the net. MacArthur is down and he's been hurt by blocking that shot. Gets up slowly and now limps back to the Ottawa bench. There's going to be an icing called. And Arthur is going to try and stay out there, I guess. But if you're medically unable to continue, they can be replaced. And he's now asking for that exclusion.
Well, there's one injury right there. That's probably the inside of the right foot. Bobby Ryan was kind of hobbling around as well. There's MacArthur. Looked like he took a shot on the inside of the right skate. Unfortunately, Ryan, who was kind of shaking off kind of a left leg tinge, is still out there.
Zikus in behind the net, trying to get away from Cowan. His centering attempt knocked down by Turris. Turris now tried to get out of his own zone, gets bound up. And again, Ottawa can't get out of their own zone. Here's Zikus in the corner. the wraparound. Leonard gets across to make the save. Bobby Ryan clears it up. Zach Smith turns around and fires it into the zone. Zach Smith gets spun around by Matt Carpenter, so he slashes him in the hand. Hickey floats the puck in, and that ground ball is gathered up by Leonard. Let's go back down to ice level. Here's Sean McKenzie.
Thank you, Dean. He was the greatest goalie of his generation. Now he's trying to rebuild a hockey powerhouse in Colorado. Find out what drives Patrick Waugh to win in Sportsnet magazine.
All right, there we go.
Well, that wild outburst, I think, in the Colorado Avalanche's first game of the season against the Anaheim Ducks, I think that went a long way to sort of inspire the young Colorado Avalanche. 10-1-1. Incredible. Wild one in Philadelphia tonight, folks. 7-0. The Washington Capitals over the Philadelphia Flyers, and it was just brutal. Ugly. Back to the 70s. That's a good sign right there for the Ottawa Senators.
Arthur back. Walked off that stinger after getting hit with that shot. That's off the draw. Carlson couldn't get one through the crowd as it hit Bouchard's leg. Center now. Colin Greening to the line. Drives it to the corner. Greening. Out the other side. Spezza. Tries to send it in front for Neal. That goes off his stick. Hamilton clears the puck ahead. Bailey cross ice. That one knocked down at the line by Carlson. Tied at 4 here in period 3 on Canadian Tire Senators Hockey. Anything for Hockey brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Ottawa Senators.
You ever tried to have a little fun, change things around, and you shake a soda bottle, all of a sudden it goes poof? Well, that's exactly what Paul McLean did. So your fourth line gets a goal. Condra. Shuffle more lines. Well, certainly looks like line number 3 gets a goal with Ryan, and also a goal by Zibanejad. That means lines number 4, 3, and 2 have contributed goals.
Back to the net, centering pass all the way back to the point. McDonald turns with it. Floats it in, looking for a redirection that he doesn't get. Grant picks it up. Islanders closing in on 50 shots. They have 48 to Ottawa's 20. Neal comes in, puts the shoulder into McDonald as the puck floats all the way back down ice. Leonard tips it to Phillips. And now Spezza. Out to center. Grant puts the puck deep inside the Islanders' end. Out of the net, Nabokov tips it back to the corner. Played against Ottawa 5 times. We'll make that 11 times in his career and won only 5 of them. Back in front, the one-timer goes over top of the net. Back along the boards. Bobby Ryan up to center, out of the reach of MacArthur. Hamonic just drives it back in. Plays whistle down on the offside. Face off back outside the Senators' zone. So once again, go downstairs. Here's Sean.
Thank you, Dean. Next, Canadian Tire Senators Hockey. Dallas visits to take on the Ottawa Senators, and coverage begins Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can catch it on Sportsnet East. Regional restrictions are in effect.
Off the draw, Opozo with a shot that misses high. He's one of 2 Islanders having a multi-point night. He has 2 assists. And Bouchard has a goal and an assist. Islanders again can't get the puck out of their own zone. Islanders keep it in. Back to the corner. Tavares tries to slide it through for a pinching Martina. Ryan leaves at the line. There's a shot looking for the tip, and Ryan couldn't get a stick on it. Back along the boards, puck is shoveled in deep by Cowan. Bobby Ryan puts himself into the boards with great vigor. There's a spin-around shot that goes off the leg and just misses the open side. Lafont in from the point. In behind the net, Hamonic chops it to the corner. Here's MacArthur. Off the boards, puck tips off the stick, held in. Lafont gloved it down and tried to keep it alive in the zone. Weirkoff comes across to deal with it, with Opozo on him. Weirkoff turns, looking for the breakout that he feels most comfortable with. Ottawa changing, and the center, here's Zach Smith to the line and in. tries to run the corner on Carton. Turns out the other side. Feeds the point. Here's Mafat now back along the boards. Again, jammed for space. McCulloch in behind the net. McCulloch chopped off his stick, and he's parried by Matt Martin. Loses his helmet. Still gets it back to the point. Weirkosh sends a shot through. That's knocked down. Puck is chipped ahead. Martin steers it down to the Ottawa line. Cizikas held up at the line by Mafat. And Weirkosh runs it around the board. Zach Smith on the other side. End of the shift. Carries it in himself. Tries to go it alone. Fresh troops coming over the boards. He works it back to the corner. Here's Green. Green has his stick with it. Can't control the puck, and the Islanders back over to it. Here's Nielsen to center. Couldn't get in cleanly. Puck is sent back out to the line. Here's Spencer with Green. Spencer lines, fires, and off the blocker of Nabokov. Puck is cleared back down ice. Here's Bouchard trying to chase it. Bouchard cuts in. Save is made by Leonard. Backhander comes back to the high slot. Spezza out to center and down to the Islander end. And the play is whistled down. Conacher couldn't get to the imaginary line before McDonald did.
Hey, first of all, you get the Ottawa Senators with a big shot right here. And then a player is lost. Right side of your screen. Take a look. There is a rule that's broken there too many times by the Ottawa Senators defense. How about the rule of 10 as a defenseman? If you don't see 10 guys in front of you, you're in trouble. There weren't 10 players in front of the Ottawa defense on that particular play. Bouchard got away, got behind them, and had a great scoring opportunity. Remember Hossa? Remember Jonathan Taves?
Centering pass, Hamonic, his shot. Deflected to the corner. Phillips shovels it high in the air back to center. Hamonic gathers it up, carries it in. Hamonic cuts to the forehand, loses the puck. Zach Smith now takes a chop across the hand from Hamonic. Back to center. Smith to the line. Wheels it across for Chris Neal and puts him offside. Tied at 4 in the back half of the third here in Ottawa. Working Senator brought to you by Marks. Ready for this?
Well, when you think about how well he has played, Robin Leonard still doesn't have a win to his credit this season. He has, at this point, faced 49 shots, and a lot of them point blank, if not to mention the breakaways and the shorthanded breakaways like this one by Grabner. Robin Leonard, Ottawa Senators' hardest working Senator on this evening.
49 shots right now for the Islanders in this game. Weirkosh, long lead pass, goes off the stick of Grabner. No icing call. Puck is cleared along the boards, back out to center. Here's Mafat. Shovels it back to the boards. Neal knocks it down to the Islander line. Quickly, here's Donovan. Slides it across. Martinez snaps it to center for Grabner. Grabner at the line, but offside the call is Regan trying to jump through the hole.
Now the Ottawa Senators have got their hands full right now with 9 minutes remaining. This is a part of the schedule that a lot of people were looking at and say, well, look, you got the Islanders coming in. They're not going very well. You got Dallas coming in on Sunday. They're not going all that great. Maybe there's an opportunity to start putting some points up on the board. The Senators have already lost, in my estimation, about 8 points in the standing when they, in fact, had a lead and lost it.
Vanek has to hold up as Tavares fell just inside the line. Ryder tries to clear it. He's spun around. Now Turris trying to get it out, and he does. In the neutral zone, MacArthur shovels it in. Nabokov decides to cover it with Turris bearing down on him, and then Cartner comes over and chops the stick out of Turris's hands, and discussions begin.
Well, if I were Turris, I'd say, oh, Karks, take the stick if you really want it. You're not going to tangle.
No.
With Cartner, for sure.
Well, big country at 6'5", 235, as all Ottawa fans will know when he was an Ottawa Senator. There are no tougher customers than him. And a guy who plays a regular shift, good on a penalty kill, and did not want to leave Ottawa, and the Senators did not want him to leave, but The Islanders simply offered him money that the Senators could not match over the kind of term that
in talking to him today, too, he found out what a lot of people find out when they go to Long Island. It's a beautiful place to live.
Expensive place to live.
Expensive, but beautiful.
Zibanejad dumps the puck down inside the New York end. Here's McDonald. Puck cleared along the boards. Carlson comes down the wall to force the issue. Here's Carlson. Getting away from Cizikas. Turns. Back to the point. Phillips looks for the big bounce. Gets it, but it's tipped away by Nabokov. As Nabokov predicted Phillips' plan for the little bounce pass off the back dash. Carlson in behind the net. Knocks the puck away from Matt Martin. Centers in front. Bouchard with a shot that goes off Leonard's face.
He can't believe it. Bouchard can't believe it. He thought he had a bonus.
Once again, Ottawa did not see or...
Again, that rule of 10. I mean, you got to have people, if they're not in front of you, then they've got behind you.
Spezza, his shot deflected, bouncing puck. Back to the point. Long shot by Conacher, gets by Wierkosh. Back the other way. Bailey falls as he trips over the back of Wierkosh's leg in pursuit of the puck. Conacher tips the loose one back out to center. Back along the boards. Hickey goes wide side. Here's Carton. His pass knocked down in the neutral zone. Inside the line. Nielsen with a shot that misses. Mafat off the boards. Angles with Bouchard. Now here's Greening. Greening to center. Conacher in the neutral zone finds Spezza. Shovels it to the line and in. Here's Greening trying to get around Carton. He's tied up. Ottawa changing. No one there to help him. Turning back. Greening puts the shoulder into Hickey as the Islanders clear it out. Greiva trying to get the bouncing puck to settle down. Gets some help from Turris. Now Turris reaches for the refeed from Cowan, but they can't connect. Up on the wing, Greiva comes across. Moving in, Regan with a shot. And the slow roller that's deflected just misses. Back the other way, here's Turris to the line. Turris takes it wide, swings it back in front. And Bobby Ryan just missed getting a stick on it. Phillips, back to the line. Ryan, cuts through traffic. Bobby Ryan in the high slot, it slides off his stick. He cuts in front of Tavares. Here's Hamonic now. Back along the boards. Phillips comes down the wall to try and force the issue, and then flying in there, MacArthur takes a run at Clutterbuck. Missing waved off as it didn't make it to the line. Phillips. Back to Jared Cowan. Cowan now makes his way to the neutral zone. Shovels the puck in. Martinez drops it off. And that alleviates the pressure. Islanders out to center with it. From the neutral zone, they skip it in. And Leonard will cover up and hold on. Still tied. 5:31 to go in the third. Our game review is brought to you by the Ottawa Citizen, presenting sponsor of the Senators 2013-14 season.
A lot of scoring in this hockey game. Another game with multiple goals. The New York Islanders getting 4. Ottawa Senators getting 4. You take a look at the most productive line for the Ottawa Senators. And again, you're looking at Kyle Turris with 5 shots on goal. He's a +3 on the night. He is the leader in that category.
Shot from the point by Martinek is gloved down by Leonard, who will hold on. Face off to his left.
Busy night for Leonard. 53rd shot directed at him, and still a 4-4 game.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think he counts. Off the draw. Jared Cowan goes to clear it, hits a stick. Puck loose in the corner. Tavares. Back to the point. Donovan. Looking for the tip, and he gets it as Tavares just deflects it wide. Here's Grant. Zach Smith can't get the puck out. Backside Donovan coming in, and that one just broken up by Grant. Tavares had an empty net. Out to center now. 3-on-2 break for the Senators. Make it 3-on-1. Zach Smith back in front. Gets a backhander away off the blocker of Nabokov. Clearing attempt out to center. Opozo down to the line. Sends a slow roller to the corner. Then he takes a jolt from Greiva. Here's Spezza now. Down to the Islander line. Fires it around the boards. Greening charges in. Ian Hamonic meet in the corner. Greening comes away with it. Now he's stripped of the puck. The Islanders get it back. Up along the boards. Puck is held in. Spezza flares it to the net. Hamonic tries the other side. There's a shot from the point by Wierkosh that goes off a stick and up into the mesh. And now Chris Neal is in behind the net, disagreeing with whomever he can find.
Well, McDonald and Hamonic in there. Hamonic has been pretty feisty throughout the night, and I think this sort of results, if you think back to the very first period, Hamonic taking Ryan and just slamming him down, no penalty call, and the feistiness has continued and leads up to this in a 4-4 game. All right, let's take you back to some of the young guys playing outstanding. That was a great back check by Derek Grant. Now it's a 3-on-1. Watches number 46. This is Donovan, the rookie. Nice play at a 3-on-1 to break it up. And Zach Smith still gets a backhand away, but the play much less dangerous than the way it started out. It was a 3-on-1 break by the Ottawa Senators.
Face off to the right of Nabokov. As things settle down for a moment. They could flare up again. Neal and Hamonic continue to talk with each other. Off the draw. Off the snap ahead. Nielsen. Drops it off. Bailey now to the zone. Drops it around the boards to the corner. Lafont runs it around the boards. Franz Nielsen there to intercept it. Nielsen drops it back to the point. McDonald waits. Gives it to Bouchard. He backhands the puck to the corner along the boards. Islanders trying to get a cycle going. Wierkosh breaks it up. Plays the puck to the other side where Mafat hustles to get it. Around the board, Spezza knocks it down and floats it back down to the Islander end. It hops over the stick of McDonald. Neal pounds him into the boards. Back to the line. Carlson to the corner. On the boards. Grant is mashed into the boards by Hamonic, who now won't get off Grant, which doesn't allow Carlson to get into the zone and gives the puck away to Clutterbuck. There's Erik Karlsson in his own zone to Phillips. Back to Carlson. Carlson to the line. Puck is deflected in by Grant. Goes to the corner. And along the boards. Puck is free in behind the net. Regan runs it around the boards. Here's Carlson. Fires a shot through. That's knocked down on the way to the net. McCulloch reaching in, gets by Hickey, gets by Regan, turns it back, his shot, left, the puck is loose. It's lying there, now it's thrown to the corner. Back to the point, Carlson sends it back in, it's redirected. Clutterbuck takes it off the boards, out to center, Grant leans in on him, Phillips takes him down. Carlson waits now for the line change. Allen gets it ahead. Turris gets tripped up. Catches his balance again. Opozo, he loses his balance. Play to the corner now. Along the boards. Carter comes across. Here's Turris. Back to the corner. Bobby Ryan. He's driven into the boards by Donovan. Bobby Ryan trying to get to the puck. Donovan continues just to bash away at him. Now Vanek gives the puck away, but it's cleared out to center and all the way down ice. Here's Gryba. He gets there first. Touches it up, icing the call, face-off back in the Islander end, and with 2:01 to go in a tie game, and this 5 very tired. I would not be surprised if Capuano takes his time out here.
I tell you what, this has been a very, very strong couple of shifts. First you got the McCulloch and Grant and Smith line, and then when Bobby Ryan and Turris comes back on the ice, they also have the Islanders pinned into their zone. This line has really, really been strong for the Ottawa Senators, Turris in particular.
Vanek blocks the shot, back up ice, can't get around Gryba. Here's Opozo now. Cowan on him. Spezza gets a stick in the face. Looking for a penalty, but the referee right there said it came off your own player back in front. Loose puck is knocked away by Gryba, front of the net. Here's Tavares now along the boards. Spezza goes in, knocks the puck away from him. Comes free and Cowan tips the puck ahead to Chris Neal. Neal fires it back down to the Islander end. Here's Hamonic with it. Buck 25 to go in regulation time. To the line, McDonald flips the puck to the corner. Zach Smith, puck comes back out front to the boards. Now the point. McDonald looking for the big bounce. It skips to the other side. Cizikas to the corner. Here's Matt Martin. Matt Martin plays it back to the point. Hamonic can't hold it in. Turns and fires it back in. The delayed offside call gives Ottawa some breathing room. Final minute of play in regulation time as Mafat now gets to center. Cross ice, Zach Smith at the line. Drops it off. McCulloch can't get a shot through and back the other way. Here comes Brock Nelson with Cizikas. Tries to center, but Phillips knocks it down. Then he puts Cizikas to the ice. 40 seconds to go. Zach Smith gets the center, sends it down to the Islander end. It's cleared back out again. Picked up here by Turris. Turris to the line and in. Turris to the corner, tries to center it. Bobby Ryan, his shot hits a leg. Skips to the corner. Turris back to the point. Phillips, his shot, just low and wide. Off the boards. Ryan comes in to try and keep the puck alive. Bouchard just gets it back out to center. Phillips sends the puck ahead. Mark MacArthur, his shot goes off a stick, and we get a whistle with 7 seconds remaining in regulation time.
Now Bobby Ryan trying to get the play. I mean, really strong play by Turris as he is playing tonight in a very solid game. And this line is the only line that is like plus all the way through. +3 for Turris with no goals but 1 assist. And they have been getting double duty as the most productive line for Paul McLean Senators. MacArthur on the bench there getting a first. Wonder who's going to break this logjam.
Carlson taps it back in behind the net. And that will do it. The Senators and the Islanders will go to overtime as the Islanders come back, score 2 goals. One late in the second, the other here in the third to tie this game up. Each gets a point. Who will get the bonus point?
Again, another lead by the Ottawa Senators lost as Frans Nielsen scores in the third period, the only goal, but this is early in the game. The first shift, Condra, Zibanejad. Then they come back. And in a period of not more than about 10 or 12 seconds, the Islanders get 2 and tie it up. And Bobby Ryan gives the Ottawa Senators another lead. MacArthur gets his first goal of the season on a wraparound. Bouchard. And look at that goal by Nielsen. An incredible, terrific pass by the defenseman Thomas Hickey. Sets up the tying goal by Nielsen early in the third.
19th time these two teams have gone to extra time against each other. Senators 3-4-11. 9 of those games have happened here in Ottawa. And the Senators are 2-2-5 against the Islanders in overtime here at the Canadian Tire Center. Last year these two teams met 3 times. And the Ottawa Senators were 2-0-1 against the Islanders.
Now for the Islanders, they're happy to get a point. They'd love to get 2, and of course we'll see how that works out tomorrow. All right, after the game, the Islanders travel. They go to Boston. Back-to-back games. Well, there's a lot of that this year with, I think, New Jersey having the most back-to-back games in the season with 22 back-to-back games. Of course, the Olympic season is causing a little bit of the tightness in the schedule.
Back home tomorrow, the Islanders are, as Denny mentioned, against the Bruins in Ottawa. It's home Sunday to Dallas. So 4-on-4. 5 minutes, 7 victory overtime. Through the middle, here's Eric Granba to the line. Winds up, fires, it goes off the stick of McDonald up into the mesh. And so a face-off down inside the New York end. Interesting grouping of 4 that Paul McLean begins with. Gryba and Cowan, 2 very young, very defensive defensemen. Right. With Turris and MacArthur out there. Unsurprisingly, John Tavares starts at center. Clean face-off win, and that one whistled down. And they'll have another look at this. They set the clock back. They'll just do a quick check. And yeah, they added 2 seconds back on, and they will face it off again. This one a scramble draw, but back to the point. Turris sends it. Count. They work it back to the line. Here's Turris. Tries to lay it back through MacArthur. Curls it back. Here's MacArthur. It's a lane, takes it. His shot knocked away by Nabokov. Back to the net. Tavares drops it back in behind his own goal. Hamlet. Now to McDonald. Both teams changing as the Islanders slowly make their way out of the zone. Puck is dumped in. Takes a weird bounce. And the Islanders has to be careful with it there. Out to center now. Bobby Ryan turns at his own line. Finds, coming off the bench, Erik Karlsson. Karlsson into the zone. Skips, turns, drops it back. Phillips loads it up. His shot goes off the stick of Grabner and up into the mesh.
The speed of Erik Karlsson can certainly open things up. There he is coming off the bench. How quickly they need to converge on Erik Karlsson.
Give him a lot of breathing room.
Yeah.
Off the draw, back to the point. Karlsson wheels it off. Here's Ryan. Centers it for Phillips. Phillips turns it back. Here's Ryan. Knocked off his stick by Frans Nielsen. Fights to get it back. Zach Smith in to help. His shot blocked down. Nabokov bobbles it. Here's Zach Smith again. Turns back to get away. Martinez. Back of the net. Ryan. Back to the point. Phillips. His one-timer knocked down by Nielsen. Nielsen through the middle. Trying to slide it through for Donovan. Bobby Ryan now. Gets to the line change. Carries it back himself. Ryan moving in. Takes a shot. It's tipped low and wide by Hickey. Now he gets back to the bench. 2 minutes gone. 3 to go in this 5-minute overtime session. Here's Bailey down the wing. Bailey cuts through traffic. Tries to slide the puck across. Opozo throws it low again. Back in front. There's a shot that goes high over the net. Hickey throws it to the other corner. Opozo spun off the puck. It comes free. Here's Spezza out to center. Spezza to the line with McCulloch. Gives it to McCulloch. Coming down the wing. Cuts in. Tanks the shot away. Parker takes him to the boards. Spezza steers it across. Weirkosh. Nobody in front of the net now. Sends it in for a tip. Back of the net. Again, Parker pins McCulloch, who can't get his feet moving. Head to center. Opozo at the line. Slides the line. Takes a shot. It goes over the net. A thought to the corner. Here's Connaughton. Lays it along the boards and out to center now. Here's Weirkosh with Colin Green. Weirkosh cuts in, winds, fires, and hits a leg. Green with a shot. Save is made by Nabokov. Weirkosh, he turns and fires and misses. Connaughton first on the puck. Slides it back to the net. Here's Hamonic now. Gets the puck ahead and out to center. Bouchard at the line. Gets it across. Regan gets a shot away. Leonard makes the save and holds on as Hamonic then dumps Connaughton in the crease after the whistle.
Now Nabokov, who's in my view has allowed 4 questionable goals, comes up with a real big save right here as Colin Greening seems to get the puck in the wheelhouse, and then the puck comes down a couple of 100 feet. Peter Regan did not get all of that. I think it is shot and bobbled on him a little bit, but that sometimes makes it a harder save. Robin Leonard puts a stoppage to the play.
Minute 45 to go in overtime. Off the draw, here's Greive at the center. Shovels the puck deep to the corner. Turris going to try and recover the puck as he goes to the corner. Matt Donovan. Here's Turris in behind the net. Turris looking for the late man. Wanted to get it to MacArthur. Now it's a breakaway. Opozo has the game on his stick. Cuts in Vanek. Can't get it by Leonard. Thomas Vanek has a breakaway and Robin Leonard with the save. Back the other way. Inside the zone. Greive, his shot. Right into the chest of Nabokov. Puck is cleared up to center. Tavares. Cuts in. Tavares walks in. His shot. Blocker saved by Leonard. Final minute of play in overtime. Tavares loses the puck. Karlsson skips it ahead. Here's Turris to the line. Swings it across. Backhander. Karlsson tries to give it back. Karlsson trying to get his stick free to keep the puck inside the zone. Flips it across for Phillips. Phillips takes it off the boards. Back in behind the net. Rolls it around the boards. Ottawa slow and changing. Here's the Islanders.
Guys are out of steam.
Yeah, they're slow and changing as well. Back to center. McDonald. Here's Nielsen. Nielsen drops it back. McDonald wide side. There's a shot knocked down. Puck is loose. Steer to the corner. Hamilton digs the puck in. Tries to center it. 13 seconds to go as Karlsson falls. Back the other way once again. Into the zone. Nielsen trying to get around Bobby Ryan. Ryan takes him to the corner. Nielsen still with the puck. Less than a second to go. Can't get a shot away, and we are headed to the shootout.
Take a look at this man and the saves that he has made. We take it back to the shorthanded breakaway. Grabner, the overtime breakaway. There's the guy trying to make his stamp on Long Island, and an unbelievable opportunity. Thomas Vanek, there it is. Doesn't get more exciting for the Islander fans than to watch this guy do it, and a huge save by Robin Leonard, who looks solid on that save. So the Ottawa Senators are going to a shootout because of Robin Leonard.
Canadian Tire Senators Hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Canada's hockey store, Canadian Tire, proud partner of the Ottawa Senators. By Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Sens. And by Scotiabank, you're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Don't forget to stay tuned. After the shootout is over, we will head to our studios, get you connected with Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak on all the goings-on in the National Hockey League tonight, including the Philadelphia Flyers getting smeared at home tonight by Washington and all the fights that broke out. Still a battle left to be done here between the two goaltenders and the shooters from these two teams as we head to the shootout lifetime. The Islanders are 49-37, historically one of the best shootout teams in the league. Senators 28-41 in the shootout. Last year, Ottawa was 4-4, and the Islanders were 4-3 in shootouts.
Well, at this time, if you ever have a chance to talk to Robin Leonard, as I have, quite interesting because when he talks about his own teammates, he's got a book on every guy. He even was telling, various guys on his team, well, I know what you would do on a shootout, Chris Neil. I know what you would do on a breakaway, Zibanejad and all of that. He really studies the shooters. And now, I guess we'll see if he's got a book on the Islander shooters. I'm sure he does.
A little bit surprised. John Tavares is not one of the top three shooters. Vanek, Nielsen, and Bouchard will be the first three shooters for the Islanders. Spezza, McCulloch, and then Ryan for the Senators as they get the Zambonis off the ice after the dry scrape. So interesting move by John Capuano not using John Tavares in the shootout, at least in the first three.
And he's got a goal here in the game, too. So sometimes you look at it in the sense of who's got the most points, who's hot, who's had a big night. There's no question Bouchard, with a goal and 1 assist, leads in that department. But then you do have Tavares with a goal and 5 shots on goal. And Vanek has got 1 assist. He's a -1 with 5 shots on goal. And I don't know how they pick him, but Jack Capuano has surprised me in several areas. Not taking the goaltender out in the second period. Now maybe he's proved to be right. Nabokov did make a couple of good saves in the overtime. And here we are now in the shootout to decide who gets the extra point.
Jason Spezza set to go. Shooter number 1, Spezza, takes it way wide. That's back, trying to get Nabokov moving, and Nabokov makes the save.
Well, Nabokov had the stick out, ready for the poke check. And you know what? 5-hole. He's looking 5-hole all the way, but Nabokov gets down and tight very quickly. No 5-hole.
There is Thomas Vanek. Leonard has already stopped him on a breakaway. Vanek moving in, gets a shot away, and a right pad save from Leonard.
Well, that was a quick right leg kick by the big man Leonard.
Now shooting for your Senators, number 9,
McCulloch now. gets the whistle. He also goes wide, cuts it straight back to the middle. Forehand, and he misses.
A little more speed coming in, seeing if he could. Sometimes the timing will allow the goaltender to back up a little more. The further back the goalie gets into his net, the more net you're going to see, particularly up top, but it wasn't there for McCulloch.
Here's Franz Nielsen now. Forehand, scores!
He is having some kind of a year, Franz Nielsen, leading this team in scoring.
Now shooting for your Senators, number 6, Bobby Ryan.
Bobby Ryan's got to score here or it's over. Ryan straight into Nabokov. Ryan cuts in, can't beat him.
That was the best save of the night by Nabokov. And I got to say, Coach Jack Capuano, either he's going with a loud sigh of relief or he knew all along that somewhere his goaltender would win him the hockey game, because that is a great save. Look at the kick out. He had room, did Bobby Ryan, from that angle. You can see it, but still a solid save by Nabokov. Did not allow a goal in the shootout and helped his team win.
Well, here are tonight's Molson 3 Stars, brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Ottawa Senators.
Kyle Turris had an outstanding game in my view in puck possession, offensive play, creating opportunities. Pierre-Marc Bouchard, a couple of points for those Islanders. And of course at 57 shots against, Robin Lehner was outstanding throughout this game, allowing his team to get to the shootout.
Hairstyles provided by Ronaldo Hair Designers. Please join us on Sunday afternoon at 1 as the Dallas Stars visit on Canadian Forces Appreciation Day. 5-4, Islanders winning in the shootout. Now let's get you connected.